Well, reports have it that a row between over-air peace flight operations from the United Kingdom has taken another turn, with the Nigeria's Minister of Aviation and Aerospace Development, Mr. Festus Keyamo, now writing to his British counterpart to lodge a formal complaint. Now, in a letter dated August 1st, 2024, and addressed to Louise O'Hay, the U.S. Secretary of State for Transport, Mr. Keyamo warned that if air peace is not allocated a space at the London Heathrow, Nigeria will be forced to reciprocate by denying British Airways and Virgin Atlantic slots at the Lagos and Abuja airports. It's important to note that although Heathrow is UK's primary airport, Air Peace, the Nigerian carrier, currently operates from the Gatwick Airport, which is a secondary airport. Now, the report further stipulates that all efforts by Air Peace to get a slot at Heathrow, which is closer to the heart of London, has been unsuccessful. Mr. Keyamo expressed the displeasure of the Nigerian government over the consistent denial of slot by UK slot office to Air Peace on the Nigerian to London route to fly into Heathrow, which is the first choice since it began its operations in the UK market in March 2024. Mr. Wole Shadari is already standing by to take this up. He's an aviation analyst, also a journalist. Thank you so much, Mr. Shadari. It's really good to see you.
Thank you so much, for having me.
I think we are back here again. We had back and forth with regards to Air Peace launch and all of that. And now we are here again talking about this slot. I remember speaking to the chairman of Air Peace talking about this, that his choice was Heathrow, but finally he got Gatwick. And he was saying at that time that, well, we can go with Gatwick and all of that. But what do you make of this back and forth and this new letter written by the minister?
Thank you, Tolu. I think we are back here again to what we experienced in 2013. I think I need to give us a kind of background to what has been happening. And thank you so much for the little background. Actually, Air Peace wanted to go to Heathrow, but there is an issue of slots. And this slot has become a very big albatross for many Nigerian carriers because of the situation of things. Heathrow is a very, very, very busy airport and very congested airport. Heathrow Airport is not owned by the UK authorities, but owned by a slot allocation system. And to get a slot in Heathrow, it costs so much, and I wouldn't know if our airlines will be able to get slots if they have to pay for the slots. But in as much as Heathrow is a very busy airport, some other people have also argued that bilateral air services agreement come with slots. They may be right and they may be wrong in the sense that Air Peace is our flag carrier. Yes, it's flying its flag for Nigeria. Perhaps if we had a national carrier, we would even be talking about there may actually be a kind of grandfather rights, like what was accorded to Nigerian Airways in the past. But one thing is certain, we must commend the Minister of Aviation. Whether we're going to win this battle is left to be seen. But one thing we must do is to commend the minister for the guts in saying, no, we want to address some of these things. And I also equally admire his passion for the local airline, for Nigerian carriers. If he's able to succeed, which I don't know how it's going to be, I actually don't think anything will come out of it. But one thing is certain, that we have made the move for a Nigerian airline to go to Heathrow. But if you ask me, I don't think it's something necessary for an airline to want to go to Heathrow. I think Gatwick is perfect. Nigerians do not even mind the airport you're flying into. If you do your service well, if you run your operation well, international operation, particularly to Heathrow, to London, Gatwick is fantastic. The same with Stansted Airport, fantastic. They are even closer to the city because I've landed in those two aerodromes, and honestly, I do not even want to go to Gatwick. I think Heathrow. I think Heathrow is just like Ego 3. All airlines must go to Heathrow. All airlines must fly to. It's not true. But if you insist that you want to go to Heathrow, there are terms and rules and conditions that are stipulated for you to meet. That is why I have told a lot of people that we're going to have a diplomatic route. Yes, in as much as the minister, fantastic. He has shown commitment to protecting Nigerian carriers. When the chips are down, are we going to win this war? We did the same thing with Arik Airline in 2013. Arik was already flying into Heathrow. He bought a slot to a third party to Heathrow. At the expiration of that slot arrangement, they wanted to continue with Heathrow, and there was a problem. There was so much problem that the minister at that time, Ms. Stella Odua, threatened to even use the machinery of government to stop British Airways from coming to Lagos, because usually when we have issues like this, the retaliation is usually against British Airways because they know it's a British national carrier, even though it's a flag carrier. It started as a national carrier before it became a flag carrier. Even up to now, it's still seen as the national carrier of Britain. So it's a very powerful airline. So, and when Stella was going to, Ms. Odua was going to do that, the British government came with all their top officials to meet the president of this country at that time, President Goodluck Jonathan. And when President Jonathan saw the whole thing, he had to call his minister to order to say, please, we do not want troubles. We do not want problems. We have enough problems. But at the same time, when we also look at it, Melville didn't fly to Heathrow. Melville, the defunct Melville, flew to Gatwick, and it was successful until he left that route. So I do not see why we want to make so much troubles. But if the airline and the minister has decided that he wants to go on with the battle, honestly, we will support him. But I do not know where this will end, because we have had a trajectory. And for the fact that the UK government does not control slots, makes it more difficult. Yes, what we can do, we can also introduce slots in our own airports by saying, are our airport busy? Our airports are not busy. If you come to the Muritala Mohammed Airport in the morning, it's like a ghost town. How many airlines even fly into Nigeria compared to busy airports like JFK Airport in New York, Heathrow, Frankfurt? These are very, very busy airports, very, very congested. I do not know why someone, because by the time you fly there, if you miss the time that you are supposed to operate in and outside the airport, you are removed from the slot system. There is no emotions about it. So I want to believe, maybe there's something that airplanes are saying, or something that has encouraged you to want to go back to Heathrow is a big business decision that I don't have the facts. But honestly, to look at it, I do not see it as something that we should begin to worry ourselves about. Let's hope that the minister will be able to fight this battle with a logical conclusion. But I doff my hat for him for even trying to do something. We've had ministers in the past that didn't even, look into the problems of domestic or Nigerian carriers. But this minister has decided to say no. The airlines in Nigeria are his priorities, and he has done it. But I know that it has a lot of implication, both positive and negative. How are we able to ride through this diplomatic route that I see before us left more to be desired? But he should be commended, like I said. He has done what he needed to do by supporting our airlines, by giving them all the necessary tools. If there's one minister that has supported the local airline, we must give it to Mr. Festus Keyamo. And I think that has prepared him to write that letter to seek for a better deal for Nigerian carriers.
Also took you to take us through all of this and, you know, bring us a bit back so that we understand what's been happening before now. But I think my next question will be two in one. Do you think that this support that we've gotten from the minister, do you think that the airlines operating here also have that capacity? Capacity is very important now because Airpeace came out and said, yes, we can do this, we can do that. Absolutely. But do you think that they all have that capacity to compete in that market when that time comes? You know, we're going to get to that point where we have to show our strength.
Yeah. Tolu, do you want to hear the simple truth?
Yes, please.
The simple truth is that we do not have the capacity, unfortunately, to compete with the least airline in Europe or America or Asia. We do not. And even the minister has said it, that we lack the capacity to compete with the least airlines, with the least airline anywhere in the world. That does not mean that what we have, we must not also protect it. Why I say this is that if you look at it, we have airlines coming from Germany, Lufthansa coming from Germany. No Nigerian airline is reciprocating that. And we have bilateral air services agreement. We have BASA with some of these countries. We have airlines going to the United States, although Airpeace and United Nigeria have indicated interest to also reciprocate the Open Skies agreement that we have with the United States. But up till now, we do not have the capacity to reciprocate that. We have bilateral air services agreement, not even BASA now. We have Open Skies, what I call the single African air transport market, which is the equivalent of United States Open Skies agreement. With so many countries in Africa, how many airlines are going, how many Nigerian airlines are reciprocating this route with airlines from Cameroon, with airlines from even A-Sky? We do not have that capacity. How many airlines are even flying to France? We have Air France coming into Nigeria, but we do not have the capacity to reciprocate that. One airline cannot do it. What Airpeace has shown courage, but even the courage that he has shown, he still lacks the capacity to reciprocate some of this agreement. Airpeace was given Johannesburg. But up to today, I don't think they are operating to Johannesburg. Yes, we understand there were issues. But while there were issues, South African Airways was flying or is still flying into Nigeria. Airpeace has designation to Dubai and operated Dubai for a very short period. I agree we had issues. Emirates is coming in October. I haven't heard anything from Airpeace to say they are going to, go back to Dubai. But I'm very, very sure they are also, possibly they are working on that. We should give them that benefit of the doubt. And if you look at the aeropolitics, the type of politics that happen in the aviation world, or what we call aeropolitics, you will agree with me that it's more Herculean to even compete with any of these airlines because they have been there for a very long time. These airlines also have government support, unlike our own until recently, that the federal government is trying to help the airlines to at least breathe. But generally, when you look at it, okay, how do Nigerian airlines compete when you go to the bank, the commercial bank, to get a loan at 35% or 30%? Whereas in the UK, these airlines even get loan at less than 1%. How can you even compete? Here, we have multiple charges, multiple taxes. Over there, I doubt if we have those encumbrances that have held those airlines back. And you look at the type of investment these airlines have done. Airlines buying 50 aircraft at a go. Airlines buying 30 aircraft at a go. But because their financiers have made things very, very easy for them, that you can spread this loan over a long period of time. But in Nigeria, when you get a loan from a commercial bank, they are on your neck. They won't even allow you to pay. How will business survive under that type of environment? Look at insurance. Look at every other thing that are against the airline. You find out that all these have, conspired to make the airline business not to be attractive in Nigeria. And that is why you're seeing foreign airlines dominating our airspace. And you cannot rule that out because aviation is a global business, it's international business. But what I will not accept as a journalist or as a bystander is to see us being oppressed without doing anything. And I think that is why the minister has done exactly what he needed to do. I do not know the details very well, but I would have expected that the Ministry of Foreign Affairs should have been carried along. I want to believe that they were carried along because I think it's a diplomatic relation at that level. I do not expect that the minister will single-handedly write to his British counterpart without input from the Foreign Affairs Ministry. But I want to believe that we need to hear from them and we need to take it beyond what the minister has done. But all the same, we must commend him. But like I said, I do not know whether we will win this battle.
All right, before I let you go, so interesting conversation, Mr. Shadari, as usual. There are still other contending issues. Can we wrap up in 2 minutes? What's been happening with aviation fuel? What's been happening with Forex? We see prices has been stable for some time. Everyone is able to travel. Let's wrap up on that note, please.
Thank you. I think the aviation industry is highly challenged, but I think we are seeing some positive news by the government that would in the next few weeks or next few months lead to stability. Aviation fuel prices has even come down.
Wow.
Has come down or has remained stable compared to what it was in the past. And I think we should commend the Dangote refinery for helping to stabilize price of jet A1 or jet fuel. Then if you also look at the Forex, it's getting better because in the past, it used to be very, very difficult. But with what you have now, the IIE, the difference is not much, unlike in the past where the Naira, you can plan now, but it should have been better if, the exchange rate comes down because it will help aviation industry. The aviation industry is highly polarized.
Yeah.
There's nothing you buy in Naira in aviation. Everything, even your fuel, you buy in dollars, even your boats, you buy in dollars, everything, even your trainings are done. So there's a little bit of stability now, but I would expect that in the coming days, the price of jet fuel will come down very well so that airlines can be in business. And we all know that aviation fuel is about 30-35% of airlines' revenue, which is highly astronomical, not only in Nigeria, but everywhere in the world. I think government is moving to stabilize the Naira and see how, if the Naira become very stable, I think the airlines will also be able to plan and remain in business. The aviation industry is highly challenged, like I said, but I think I still see light at the end of the tunnel. And I want to believe that in as much as it's challenged, people are working assiduously to make sure that things go right in the sector. So it looks positive, but for others, I think we can only walk through these challenges.
I must thank you so much for your time, Mr. Wole Shadari, aviation journalist and analyst. Thank you for making sense of this. I really appreciate this. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you for having me.
All right, there. Well, let's move straight to talk markets. And Mr. Rotimi Fakayi-Joe is an economy and capital market